A random memory out of nowhere, a deep feeling I couldn't explain. For years, my spirit guides sent me signs and synchronicities, and every time I had the same reaction. Well, isn't that a coincidence? Up until this time, I was always a very practical person. I worked for IBM right out of college. I always say I graduated college on a Friday and I started work on a Monday. In my 40s, my husband passed away. After that, I became very curious about spirit guides because he visited me in a dream. A number of synchronicities and signs kept happening. It was big, to say the least, because I wasn't used to living that way. I wasn't used to having so many things happen that just seemed unusual and remarkable, and wow, was the universe communicating with me? It's possible those things were happening before and I just wasn't paying attention, but now I was really getting that feel that I was not walking this path alone, that I had help from my spirit team, my team in spirit. That's how I refer to them. So the first thing that happened that started really getting my attention is my guides started showing me a specific number. I kept seeing this number over and over again. If I would go to a restaurant and get a number for my table, it would be this number. I would go and get gas, it would show up at the gas tank. I would get a receipt, it would be in the receipt. I would be behind a car, it would be there. I would start to notice actually the exit of where I live and the neighborhood that I live in had this number in it. It was so big. I thought I'm imagining this. It can't really be happening. So I looked up the number and what its meaning was in numerology, and the meaning had deep significance for me. I knew that this number had greater meaning. I was starting to shed the doubt and that feeling of I'm just making this up and I'm connecting too many dots. That all started to wear away, and I realized if they're going to go to all of this trouble to guide me and to help me in this life, then I better perk up and pay attention. So at this point, I started wanting to journal what was going on so that I could get deeper understanding of it. I started what I called a synchronicity journal, and here's the first one I wrote. It's one of 7 volumes or something like that. But like this first page, I said, may we help you? Please, I need your help. A couple of examples of things that started happening around that time is I started to write a book, and I hired an editor because I'd never written a book before and I needed someone who was really a writer to help me with this. And one of the first drafts, I get back this email from him and it says, Jeannie, quick, can you polish 2 more drafts today so we can have Caterpillar number 11 on 11-11-11? I wanted to have a regular spiritual practice where I would not miss what was being shown to me. And so if something happened in my life that in the past I would have said, what a coincidence. If I noticed that I would insert that thought, I would pause and say to myself, what might this mean? And that just opened up the curiosity. It doesn't mean it has great meaning. It doesn't mean it doesn't have great meaning. But it opened me up to look deeper and to see the bigger conversation that was happening. Another example is that I was having a bad day one of these days. One of those days where you need to just get outside and walk. And impressed upon me is the idea, I surrender. I go home, I put on Oprah's masterclass, and it comes on right away, and across my TV screen, it just says, I surrender. When that happened, I got the chills. I just knew that I was being told to surrender, that it was being told to me in various ways so that I would really take it in, so that I would really hear it. The doubt started to get worn away, and I was really becoming more open. I was no longer closing it off with my limiting thinking, with my doubt and my lack of belief in, what can this universe really be like? It was this slow process over time. It wasn't an epiphany or, the light bulb came on. It wasn't like that. It was more this wearing down of the doubt and building belief over time. So, for you're like, sometimes I kind of believe in this bigger intelligence and sometimes I don't, and I don't really know. That's how it was for me. This finding my way through my own personal connection to this greater thing called spirit. Once you stop explaining away the magic and the signs and the synchronicities as coincidence, now you're really in a conversation with the universe. And so they're specific ways that our spirit guides speak to us. In my next video, I talk about the ways that they have been speaking to me now for a long time, for over 15 years. And you might recognize some of these things in your life, but the whole point is to help you recognize how your team of spirit is speaking to you. If you've enjoyed this video, hope you'll subscribe to my channel. And if you'd like to join my email list, the link is below. And until next time, to your full expression.